In this session, we'll be dealing with the cerebrum functional areas. So last time we have done the topographical mapping. Now we are doing the functional mapping. So as you see here, the functional areas are motor areas, sensory areas, and association areas. So as name itself speaks, motor areas will have predominantly the neurons which are concerned with the motor function. Sensory areas will have neurons which are concerned predominantly with the sensory function, and association areas have the neurons which are dealing with associative, integrative, and cognitive functions. So Brodmann has divided these functional areas into 47, and still the number keeps on adding with research and evolution. So we'll be discussing the most important motor, sensory, and associative areas. So function, we are going to discuss in lobe wise, like functional areas in the frontal lobe, functional areas in the parietal lobe, functional areas in the temporal lobe, functional areas in the occipital lobe. So let us start with functional areas in the frontal lobe. The first and foremost important is the primary motor area, area number 4. It is located in the precentral gyrus and anterior part of the paracentral lobule. You can see here, it is located in the precentral gyrus and anterior part of the paracentral lobule. So contains large pyramidal cells of beds. 40% of the pyramidal tracts arise from here. Controls voluntary activities of opposite half of the body. As we already know that corticospinal tract at the level of pyramidal decussation, they cross to opposite side. That's why it controls voluntary activities of opposite half of the body. So human body is represented upside down in this area as inverted homunculus, and lesions in this area will result in hemiplegia. So let me show you this inverted homunculus. See, this is the motor homunculus. You can see here, this is the pharynx, this is the tongue, this is the area of the face, this is the neck, and this is the hand representation, because see, the intrinsic muscles of the hand will have precision grip and evolutionary aspects. So though the muscles of the hand are small, so it is proportionate to the work which is performed by these muscles. That is why the largest area of representation is for the hand. And you can see here the shoulder region, trunk, and you can see the leg and foot, and here you can see the perineal region. So this particular paracentral lobule region is concerned with the micturition and defecation. So this side, it is the sensory homunculus, more or less same as the motor homunculus. Okay. So this we have finished. This is the primary motor area, area number 4. So you can see here, area number 4, primary motor area. You can see the premotor area, area number 6. You can see the frontal eye field. You can see the Broca's area in pars triangularis and pars opericularis. You can see the primary auditory area number 41 and 42 in the anterior transverse temporal gyrus, Heschel's gyrus. You can see the area number 22, the secondary auditory area. So this 22, 40 and 39 together, all together, we call it as Wernicke's area of speech or sensory speech area of Wernicke. And here you can see the primary visual area number 17. And here you can see the visual association area 18 and 19. You can see the sensory association area 5 and 7. And you can see the primary sensory area, primary somatosensory area 3, 1, 2. And if you come on the medial surface, you can see here within the paracentral lobule, you can see in the anterior half there is the motor area, the primary motor area. In the posterior half there is the primary sensory area 3, 1, 2. And here you can see the premotor area on the medial surface. You can see area number 23 and 24. You can see the medial frontal gyrus. You can see this entire thing is the prefrontal area. You can see the uncus and anterior part of the parahippocampal gyrus together. You can see the olfactory area. So here you can see on either side of the posterior part of the calcarine sulcus, you can see on either side, initially we'll see the, within the walls, you can see the visual cortex, the primary visual area. Then on either side, you can see the visual association areas, area number 18 and 19. So let us coming to the premotor area. So first we have finished with the primary motor area number 4. Now we'll be dealing with the premotor area. So the premotor area is area number 6. So it occupies the posterior parts of the superior, middle and inferior frontal gyri. So it is the main site of origin of extrapyramidal tracts, because here large pyramidal cells of beds are not present. So we call it as extrapyramidal tracts, responsible for successful performance of voluntary motor activity. So lesion here results in difficulty in performing skilled movements. The primary and premotor area together called as primary somatomotor area. Somatomotor area. M capital, S less, because M is the motor, S is the sensory component. So primary somatomotor area. That means here there is predominant motor component, but there is slight sensory component also. So make let us MS1, primary somatomotor area. So primary motor area and premotor area. together called as primary somatomotor area, MS1. You can see here. So primary motor area along with premotor area, together we call it as MS1. So here you can see the supplementary motor area, MS2, which is located in the medial frontal gyrus. So premotor area is done. So this is the premotor area. So you can see here, this is the primary somatomotor area, which includes primary motor area and premotor area. Primary motor area and premotor area together called as primary somatomotor area, MS1. And this is a supplementary motor area which is located in the medial frontal gyrus. So here you can see the primary somatosensory area in the postcentral gyrus, and you can see the secondary somatosensory area in the upper lip of the posterior ramus of the lateral sulcus. So primary somatosensory area, secondary somatosensory area, so primary somatomotor area and supplementary somatomotor area. So primary motor area is different, primary somatomotor area is different. Primary motor area is area number 4, whereas primary somatomotor area is area number 4 and area number 6. So supplementary motor area located on medial frontal gyrus, as I have shown here, it is located on the medial frontal gyrus, on the medial surface of the cerebrum, anterior to paracentral lobule. You can see this particular part is the paracentral lobule. Anterior to that, you can see the supplementary somatomotor area. Body is represented before backwards in craniocaudal order. Stimulation produces complex movements like assumption of a posture. So lesion of the supplementary motor area results in bilateral flexor hypotonia. There will be no paresis or paralysis, only flexor hypotonia on both sides. So here you can see on the medial surface, primary visual area, visual association area, olfactory area, primary olfactory area, paracentral lobule with both primary motor and primary sensory areas. This is the premotor area. You can see the prefrontal area. Frontal eye field. You can observe here this particular area in the posterior part of the middle frontal gyrus. So this is the superior frontal, this is the middle frontal, this is the inferior frontal gyri. So in the posterior aspect of the middle frontal gyrus, you can see this is the frontal eye field. So posterior part of the middle frontal gyrus. So stimulation will cause deviation of eyes to the opposite side. So it is concerned with conjugate eye movements. So remember this, controls voluntary scanning movements of the eye. It is independent of visual stimulus, but involuntary scanning movements of the eye are under control of visual cortex. Okay, so if there is any lesion here, eyes deviates to the side of lesion and are unable to turn to opposite side. That means voluntary scanning movements of the eye is lost, but involuntary scanning movements will be retained because it is concerned with the visual cortex. So this is the frontal eye field. So motor speech area or Broca's area number 44 and 45. You can see here, this is the area number 44 and 45. And this particular area will be the sensory speech area number 22, 39 and 40. So all these together, they form the sensory speech area of Wernicke. So area number 22 is both for secondary auditory area as well as for sensory speech area of Wernicke. So it is located in pars triangularis, area number 45. You can see here, area number 45. Then pars opericularis, area number 44 of the inferior frontal gyrus. So it is usually located in the left cerebral hemispheres in right-handed people. So if the person is left-handed, it will be located in the right hemisphere. So it is this particular location of the motor speech area which determines the dominance. So left-handed people are left dominant, right-handed people are left cerebral dominant because motor speech area is located in the left cerebral hemisphere, and left-handed people are right hemispheric dominant because speech area is located in the right cerebral hemisphere. So it is responsible for expressive speech or vocalization. So lesion results in motor aphasia, means the person understands and knows what to speak, but he will not be able to speak, but he can write what he wants to speak. Okay, that is called motor aphasia or expressive aphasia. So now what is the difference between motor aphasia and sensory aphasia? So if you see, the site of lesion is on the posterior part of inferior frontal gyrus where area 44 and 45 are located, and if you see in the sensory aphasia, it is in the posterior part of the superior temporal gyrus and adjoining part of the inferior parietal lobule. So all these areas are affected, 22, 39 and 40. So speech is effortful. It's very difficult to speech, dysarthric, telegraphic and non-fluent. Here in sensory aphasia, it is fluent. Okay, but comprehension of spoken speech, that means what we can understand. Though it is difficult to speak, still we can understand what he's trying to speak. But here, though the speech is fluent, we can't understand. That means it is nonsense speech. Whatever he's talking is not making any sense, because his sensory speech area is gone, whereas motor speech area is intact. So he's speaking, but he doesn't know what is actually speaking. So then ability to read, write, and calculate is intact in motor aphasia, but it is lost in sensory aphasia. So word blindness, inability to comprehend written speech. It is absent in motor aphasia, because only motor, that person is not able to speak, but he is able to understand, listen and understand. But here word blindness is present because he is not able to understand what is spoken. So prefrontal area, it is area number 9 and 10. I have already shown here. You can see on the medial surface, this is the prefrontal area, area number 9 and 10. So frontal lobe, rostral to motor and premotor area. It's concerned with individual's personality and abstract ideas. Individual's personality and abstract ideas. So influences in determining the initiative and judgment of an individual. So depth of emotions, social, moral, and ethical awareness, concentration, orientation, and foresightedness. So all these are calculated here. Then capable of associating expressions, experiences that are necessary for production of abstract ideas. So this particular area is can associate past experiences. So it will integrate past experiences. From that experiences, it can create abstract ideas. So lesion results in personality change, loss of concentration, initiative, and judgment. So which will ultimately result in abnormal social behavior. Now you can see the functional areas in parietal lobe. So we have finished with functional areas in the frontal lobe. Now we are dealing with the functional areas in the parietal lobe. The first and foremost will be the primary sensory area, area number 312 of Brodmann. The primary somatosensory cortex, SM1. So here S is capital, M is small, because the major component is sensory and the minor component is motor. So primary sensory area, otherwise called primary somatosensory cortex. So post-central gyrus is the location, and posterior part of the paracentral lobule on the medial surface. So opposite half of the body is represented upside down, as I've already shown, the homunculus. So it receives exteroceptive and proprioceptive sensations which are perceived in this particular primary sensory area in the postcentral gyrus. So lesions will result in loss of exteroceptive and proprioceptive sensations on opposite half of the body. So you can see here, this is the primary sensory area or primary somatosensory area, SM1. Then this is the representation, sensory representation. Same again, pharynx, tongue, jaw. This will be the lips, face, then hand, shoulder, head, trunk, leg, foot, and perineum within the paracentral lobule. So secondary sensory area, SM2. So it is located in the upper lip of the posterior ramus of the lateral sulcus. Face lies anteriorly, legs lies posteriorly in this region. Area relates more to pain perception. So ablation of this area may relieve intractable pain. You can see here. So this is the SM2. Okay. Secondary somatosensory area. So now coming to the sensory association area, area number 5 and 7. So it is located in the superior parietal lobule, as I can show here. So this is the superior parietal lobule, where area number 5 and 7 are located. This is the sensory association area. So sensory association area is different from secondary sensory area, secondary somatosensory area. So sensory association area, so it helps in perception of shape, size, roughness, and texture of objects. So stereognosis, ability to identify objects placed in hand without seeing. This is called as stereognosis. So lesion in this area results in tactile agnosia or stereognosis. That means if I ask you to close your eyes and put something which you already know in your hand, you will not be able to identify it if there is lesion to the sensory association area. As long as this is intact, even by closing eyes, we'll be able to identify the known objects by placing in the hand, like a coin, pen, or something, some objects like mobile, something like that. But if this area is damaged, then we will not be able to identify the objects by closing our eyes just with the hands. So this is the sensory association area. Now sensory speech area of Wernicke, as you can see here, area number 22, area number 39, and area number 40. So this will be the supramarginal gyrus, this will be the angular gyrus. So this will be the posterior part of the supratemporal gyrus. All these three areas together called the sensory speech area of Wernicke. Supratemporal gyrus, angular gyrus, and supramarginal gyrus. So interpretation of language through audio and visual input. So through the arcuate fasciculus, Wernicke's area. This Wernicke's area is connected to the Broca's area through arcuate fasciculus. Arcuate fasciculus. So lesion So it results in sensory aphasia, which I've already explained. The person is able to speak because Broca's area is intact, but he is unable to understand what he listens or sees. So when both Broca's area and Wernicke's area are damaged, it results in global aphasia. So now functional lobes in the temporal lobe. The first and foremost is the primary auditory area number 41 and 42. You can see here. So this will be the area number 41 and 42. Primary auditory area number 22 will be secondary auditory area. So it is present in the superior surface of the superior temporal gyrus, occupying anterior transverse temporal gyrus called Heschel's gyrus. So perception of loudness, quality and pitch of the sound. Lesion unilateral, slight loss of hearing because cochlear projection is bilateral. So if unilateral lesion, there will be slight loss of hearing. So if the person has to become deaf, so it has to be a bilateral lesion, complete cortical deafness. So this will be the primary auditory area, this will be the secondary auditory area. You can see here auditory association area or secondary auditory area number 22, which is in the superior temporal gyrus, correlates auditory impulses with past auditory experience. There will be interpretation of sound heard. So area number 41 and 42 will receive the sound, and that sound what is received will be understood in area number 22. So inability to interpret the meaning of the sound heard. So auditory verbal agnosia. So it is inability to interpret the meaning of the sound heard. That means he is able to hear but not able to interpret what it is. Something like something close to sensory aphasia. So functional areas in the occipital lobe. The first and foremost is the primary visual area or striate area. It is area number 17. So why it is called striate area? Because there will be visual stria of Jenner. A white stria is seen in the visual cortex, so it is called a striate area. So it is located in the walls and floor of the posterior part of the calcarine sulcus. So mainly, if I say right visual cortex, right primary visual cortex or left primary visual cortex. So usually they receive from the opposite half of field of vision. Suppose if I say the right half of the field of vision, so this right half of the field of vision is represented in the left cerebral hemispheres. And same way, if I say left half of the field of vision, that will be represented in the right hemisphere. Then macular area, so which is the central part of the retina, has extensive cortical representation. So mainly, this is primary visual area. It is mainly concerned with perception of individual stimulus like color identification, size, form, motion, illumination, and transparency. But this will not be helping you to identify what you are seeing. It will only identify the color, size, form, motion, illumination, and transparency. Okay. So lesion will result in loss of vision in opposite visual field. So this is the primary visual area within the walls and floor of the posterior part of the calcarine sulcus, and you can see area number 18 and 19 visual association areas. So secondary visual area, visual association area number 18 and 19. So this surrounds the primary visual area. It relates visual impulses which are received by the primary visual area with past visual experiences. So this will help you to appreciate what you are seeing and recognize the people or objects. So lesion results in visual agnosia, able to see but unable to recognize, visual agnosia. Now, other functional areas. So, taste area, it is located in the lower end of the post-central gyrus, area number 43. So, vestibular area is also located in the post-central gyrus. Then, olfactory area number 28, it is located in the uncus and anterior part of the parahippocampal gyrus. You can see here, area number 28, it is located here. So, now coming to the cerebral dominance, as I said, it is the location of the Broca's area or motor speech area which describes the dominant. So if the person is right-handed, because the right half of the body is controlled by the left cerebral hemisphere, and there will be location of the Broca's area in the left cerebral hemisphere. So the person is left cerebral dominant. A right-handed person will be left cerebral dominant, and a left-handed person will be right cerebral dominant, because in a left-handed person, the speech area, the Broca's motor speech area is located in the right cerebral hemisphere. Clear? The cerebral dominance is clearly dictated by handedness and location of the motor speech area. So if motor speech area is located in the left cerebral hemisphere, it is left cerebral dominant and the person will be right-handed. And if the motor speech area is located in the right cerebral hemisphere, the person will be right hemispheric dominant and the person will be left-handed. And see, there is individualization of some technical aspects to each hemisphere. Like if you see the left hemisphere, it is mainly concerned with verbal speech, writing, language, mathematical calculation, and analytics, whereas right hemisphere is almost non-verbal. So it is musical, spatial comprehension, geometrical, recognition of faces, and creative acts of art. Thank you.